Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television talk show where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. It's always so much fun. You are so awesome, and I'm always happy to be with you every single day. You can find us syndicated on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. You can find us on all the social media sites as well. It's always good to be with you any way we can. Continue sending emails. Donna@donnasedge.com. That's Donna@donnasedge.com. So a lot of you are sending emails with suggestions about all natural, healthy foods and what you can do to eat healthier. And the number one, raise your own fruits and vegetables. If you can do that, or go to a reliable farmer's market and find your food there, and you'll be glad you did. Now, we love to forage. We go out in the woods and we'll find, I just really got into the American beauty berry. Okay, and this is an awesome berry. The Indians used it, and it's also considered a mosquito repellent if you know what to do with it. Wait until those berries get really pretty and they're this kind of purplish, kind of fuchsia looking color. They're tiny, tiny little berries now, so it takes a while to go ahead and gather those, but no thorns, nothing like that. You just go out into the natural woods, make sure you know it's the American beauty berry, and just go for it. So what I do with them, I make jams and jellies with them. I also make a salve with it, and with this salve, it again gets rid of mosquitoes, gets rid of any kind of a icky-like bug. I'm going to try it next year. I didn't think about it until after the high season of poison oak, and I'm going to see if it gets rid of that, because I'm just telling you, it's really, really strong about the time of my birthday, about the third week in June, and I'm telling you, I break out in hives with this stuff. I can walk by it and it just explodes all over me. Phil could walk around and take a bath in it and not even wear any clothes, and it wouldn't affect him whatsoever. But I had to be super careful when I go out there. So I'm going to report on that for you next year. And I'll just go out there, walk by it. I'm not going to ask for trouble, but I'm going to walk by it and have this American Beauty salve and just put it all over me and even on my clothes. And we'll just see what happens at that point. Okay, peppers. Okay, what do you do? Because I'm just telling you, peppers, you can have one plant and it will just go like crazy. So what am I going to do with all those peppers? Because see, like if you're like me, I can everything. I put things in the food dehydrator. I do all kinds of things, and I've given away peppers like crazy. But there is something you can do with them. There's a salve that you can make, and it's super easy. You can go ahead and get your peppers, jalapenos, or whatever peppers you'd like to have, as long as it's super, super hot. And what you'll do is wash them off really good, let them dry, put those in a food dehydrator, and I'm going to show you a couple of clips on how to do that. But go ahead and let it get really, really, I'm talking where it's crispy hard, okay? You want absolutely no moisture to these peppers whatsoever. And it's like this icy hot, that you can buy. It's getting pretty expensive like everything else is nowadays. But you can make your own for pennies of what it would cost. Even if you go to the farmer's market and buy your own, it's still a whole lot cheaper than buying the product. And only 3 ingredients. You can add more if you'd like, but what I like to use is the beeswax that come from my bees. Now you can buy beeswax on Amazon.com. If you're going to buy those, I suggest you buy the little tiny ones where they're like little pellets, because beeswax is really hard and it's hard to melt. And so you'll just get a lot better salve if you get the pellets, if you're going to do that. You can also use lard. Now what I like to do with my peppers, I'll dehydrate those, and then I grind them up and turn them into a powder form, which you're going to see how I do that in just a couple of minutes. But in a powder form, and that's absolutely the way to do it. Then I'll go ahead and put it in some olive oil, and make sure you get the really, really good virgin olive oil, and let it set in a jar, closed in a dry space, away from the sunlight. So you want to keep it, I keep mine in the bottom jar that no sun gets there. And then make sure you keep the lid on it. You want to shake it every once in a while, once, twice a day. After you've had it for a while, you can just like once a day will be just fine. Or maybe once every couple of days will work as well. So think about doing that for yourself. And then, now let me tell you this about putting it in olive oil. What you're doing is you're making an essential oil kind of with it. The longer you keep it, the ingredients together before you drain it out. So you have to drain the pepper out of it and the pepper powders out of it in order to get the salve, make the salve that you'd like to make. The longer you leave that combination together, the better and the stronger and the more potent it's going to be. So I like to start out really early. That's why I like to do the powdered form of the oils, and because I can have the powder saved from last summer and going ahead and look at the cupboard and pull out the powdered pepper and then put that in olive oil and let it set for months before I need to. I do the same thing with everything, all of my oils that I use. And you know how I am about comfrey oil. I keep comfrey with me all the time. I've got oils that are sitting there that have been there for months. And again, the longer it sits in the cupboard, the more potent it's going to be. Let's look at one. I'll show you the very first one. And this is where I've gathered the peppers, and I'm going to show you what you can do for the food dehydrator. Okay, so let's go on ahead and work on powdered pepper. Yeah, you heard me say it. This is like really, really, really hot pepper. Now what I'm going to do with this is put it in the dehydrator. And it's going to really not harden and dry out. Then what I'll do is put it in my coffee maker and turn powder into it, and I will make a salve with it. It's kind of like icy hot, but without all of the added ingredients. So the only thing this is going to have in it will be hot pepper, and I'm probably going to put some olive oil in it. Let that do its thing, and I'm going to put shea butter, like 100% all natural. But I'll keep you posted on how this works. Yeah, doing a bunch of canning. Man, this is my favorite time of the year. The kitchen looks like a total mess. Okay, there are some peaches right there that I'm drying out. I'm going to have to get them all fixed up. And another thing I wanted to tell you too about canning is like these are 4 different varieties. Actually, I've got 5 different varieties of tomatoes. So what I'm doing is that's a Brandywine right there. So I'll still use these. I'm probably going to dehydrate all of these, but I'm saving the seeds. So it's really important now that you label these. Okay, and man, peaches galore. I'm loving the peaches, and I'm just absolutely loving this tomato season. So everything's working out. Oh, and by the way, I have some tomatoes right now that I am dehydrating, and so that's what it's going to look like. And in the wintertime, you know, when we're missing our tomatoes and all the wonderful things about the summer season, which I'm a summer person, then we're going to have, I'll get this and mix it with some olive oil. Well, now you have to hydrate it and have to boil it in water for about 3 minutes. Drain it real good. And you'll put some seasonings in it, put your herbs in it. I like to use a little bit of sage and, of course, all of the Italian seasonings with this. And, of course, I grow them all myself. See right there, we're drying a bunch of herbs, as you can see. Right there, they're hanging all over the place. And some of them I have already taken them up, but I like to dry them naturally. But anyway, this is going to be really good to go in stews. You can put it in salads. You can put it in all kinds of great things. So I'm loving that as well. But anyway, I'll go ahead and end this particular little segment, and we'll talk a little bit more about how to make salve the natural way, in case you need something like an icy hot. But it's all natural. Talk to you later. All natural. That's the only way to go. Now, I'm going to go ahead and mention this again, important part. When you are drying your fruits and vegetables, you need to make sure these things are crisp. I mean, they're at a crisp stage, because any amount of moisture in those, it'll keep a while, but eventually you're going to start getting mold. And that's the number one question I have, is how do you keep the mold out of it? I've tried it before, some of you guys have said. And again, just make sure that it's crisp. And make sure, okay? All right, let's go ahead and look at the next video. Then we're going to have to go into a commercial break, but let's look at this one real quick. Okay, so we are back. So I have crumbled up the pepper pieces, and I'm going to go ahead and put this on the top. And you've got to have this on top for the whole thing to work. Now, you can find electric ones. You can find the kind you just twist and turn, has a turn table kind of a thing with it. But I really like this one. I've had it for years. And it's not worn out, and I do coffee, you know, and I do all kinds of things with this. But Make sure you clean it really good before you do your coffee, okay? Because it will have a little bit of a peppery taste to it. I wouldn't mind it, but Phil would not like that. Okay, what I'm going to do is press down. You're going to hear a lot of noise. Here we go. I counted to about 20. Now this is a safety issue right here. I have asthma and I should be wearing a mask, but if I have to wear a mask, you're not going to be able to hear a word I say. So what I'm going to do is kind of gently tap it just like that. I'm going to be really careful. I'm going ahead and I'm grabbing a towel and I'm going to put this over my mouth so that I don't breathe in any of this stuff. Now, it's not going to hurt you if you do breathe it, but I will tell you you'll start coughing very loud when you do that. Okay, here we go. I'm going to take open the top, just like that, and I'll show you what this looks like. There you go. There's the powder. And I'm just telling you it smells really good, but now I love the smell of hot powder. Okay, now another thing I'm going to do, I'll put this towel right here. There's my jar. I'm going to put it in. Be really careful when you're pouring this in here because dust will fly. And you will be breathing this in. I like to use one of these. This is an old-fashioned one. I think my grandmother probably had that one. And I'm going to pour this into the jar. But before I do, so you don't hear me hacking all over the place, get this towel and put it around my mouth and around my nose. Okay? And there we go. That's what your powder is going to look like. All the peppers turned into that. Now, you can use this for a seasoning. My son loves to use this powder on his eggs. So when he scrambles his eggs, or my daughter-in-law scrambles the eggs for him, she'll use just about a quarter teaspoon in his eggs. But now, this very powerful, a quarter of a teaspoon. Most people, like myself, would only eat about a 1/16. I mean, or maybe just shake it out a little bit. You can get a salt and pepper shaker and put it in there and salt that in. It's good on salads if you'd like to do that as well. But now remember, this is hot. And hot pepper. And again, if you are into natural products like I am, you're really going to love this. It's an alternative, natural alternative to icy hot. And again, you can use it on other things as well. But another thing is make sure the jar is completely dry, because when it comes to powdered products, and any kind of dried product, such as your tomatoes or whatever, when it comes to those things, moisture is the enemy. So some people have told me, well, Donna, I've tried that, and it winds up molding. Well, what's happened is you've either not let it get to a complete crisp when you're drying it in the food dehydrator, and another thing you're not doing, too, is probably making sure that no moisture gets in there. Now, I like to take a spoon out and measure mine. I would never, let's say I'm putting this in soup, I would never have it like this and pour it in, because let me tell you what's going to happen. The steam is going to get right in here, inside. Let's say this is your boiling pot right here, and you pour it in like that. Steam from that boiling pot is going to get in there. There's going to be moisture, and that's going to be an enemy, okay? So make sure that that doesn't happen. I would use a spoon and just measure out what I want to put in, whatever I'm cooking. Well, thank you so much for watching. So that's how I like to do it. And I'd like to also say, if I can do it, I know you can do it, okay? And we're busy here on the farm and with the show as well. So, again, if I can do it, I know you can. So you take care. See how easy that is? Again, just little tiny steps you have to remember. Let's go into a commercial break. We'll return in just a few minutes on the benefits of pepper and what it can do for your body. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at TwinCityUsedCars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to LamonesMex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community. Whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need, toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. We are back. Oh, don't you love Pepper? Don't you love doing your own stuff? Because you know what's in it. Some weird ingredient is not in there causing havoc in your body. We're trying our best to make everything all natural. Stay away again from artificial stuff. It's just not going to work. Let's look at one more video. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about the benefits of peppers, whether that's on topical, on the outside of your body, or inside the body. We'll be right back. Hey everybody, this segment is about powdered foods. And I love to dehydrate. I've got a dehydrator I've been using for years, paid about $30 for it, probably 10, 15 years ago. And I've been using that thing every season. And for the things that get out of the garden, peppers, tomatoes. Here's some tomatoes, by the way, that I've dehydrated right here. I can leave them just like that. I can go ahead and powder those, which is what I do a lot of times, and this is really good to use in soups, and it's a good soup thickener, by the way. Here are some onions I dehydrated. Those are those really pretty sweet purple onions, so if you have an over-processed, have a lot of onions in your garden, this is a good thing to do. Also, there's a tiny one right there. Sometimes I do slices, and a lot of times I'll just cut them up in small pieces and put those in the dehydrator, and that's what happens. Now remember, when you're using any kind of dehydrated product, it's going to be twice as much. In other words, if let's say a recipe called for 1 cup of onions, you would use 1/2 cup of these. Then you want to set them in water and let them hydrate again, and then that's what you're going to get. Now I wanted to also show you something else. And these are my peaches. Now, the first time I did this, I almost threw away the blackened ones. When I put these in the food dehydrator, I almost threw them away. Man, that would have been a huge mistake. I went on ahead and called one of my prepper friends and told them about it. And I said, well, what do I need to do with these? And she said, do not throw them away. Whatever you do, keep those, because they make the best cobblers. And if you decide later on you'd like to make maybe a preserve out of them, peach preserves, there's some kind of a special taste these things have, and they don't look like this when you cook them. So I actually on purpose, I want a few orange ones, of course, but I always like those that are darkened, and they add a very special flavor. So don't throw them away if they look like this. They actually taste better than these do. Okay, now that we're over that one, let's talk about powdering peppers or any other kind of fruit or vegetable. First of all, these are going to be used in a hot pepper salve. This is better than icy hot. First of all, only a few ingredients are in this. And first of all, you're going to powder the peppers. You want to put those in olive oil and let those set at least a couple of months. The longer, the better. It's going to be that much stronger. Then I use some of my honeybee wax in this as well. And that's what gives it that real thick look. Now, if you're having problems with arthritis, got a back problem, whatever, just a little bit of this will do you. And see how thick that is? Okay, this is made from my hot peppers. Now, make sure you wash your hands if you're using this on your back or you're rubbing somebody down with it. Use gloves if you can. Something like these little plastic ones will be just fine. Or if you're not going to, wipe your eyes or anything, you'll be okay. But I'm just telling you, when it gets in your eyes, it will burn. Okay, now, here are this is some hot peppers right here that I ground last year. And I ground several. We had such a huge pepper crop. And so this is what the powder will look like. Okay, and then depending on how strong you want the salve to be when you are using your olive oil, if you use, let's just say you use half a jar of this and put the rest in olive oil, that will make a really, really stout one. What most people would do is use a quarter amount, say up to about a quarter amount of this jar right here in the powder, and then fill the rest of it up with olive oil. You'll need to give it a real good stir every day and keep it in a cool, dry place. And I like to keep mine out of the sun, so I keep it in the bottom cabinet, a cabinet that I don't use that often. But anyway, this is what I make the salve out of. And I'm just telling you, everybody who tries this, they absolutely love it, and it's something you can do too. And it's a super easy recipe. All right, now back to drying. I have my coffee, it's the chopper right here, but this is what I use for my coffee beans right here. And this is like everything. Just go ahead and put the other glove on, because I'm just telling you, you decide you need to wipe your eyes about something, this gets in your eyes. It's not going to feel good. Okay, so I'm not going to bore you to death. I'm just going to show you a couple of these. And then say this is what the pepper needs to look like. It needs to be, I'm talking solid dry. There does not need to be any humidity in it whatsoever. You need to hear this. Okay, that lets you, it's going to sound like a potato chip. And that is what's going to make this usable. Okay, and you can put seeds and everything in there. So what I'm going to do, I'll go ahead and turn this off. We're going ahead and load it up. And then I'm going to show you the best way to use the coffee grinder, okay? I'll be right back in just a few minutes. Actually, I messed that one up. You should have seen the other video first, then this one, so you get the idea. But go ahead and show that to all of your friends. Now, real quick, before we have to go, I'm going to give you some benefits of, we talked about topical and what hot peppers could do for your body. It's good for arthritis. It's good for anything that ails you, basically. So let's talk about what can happen for if you, let's say you eat peppers, or you want to make put some on a salad or whatever. Peppers are really, really good for your body. Okay, peppers can banish migraines. Now, this comes from WebMD.com, so you know it's a good source. Banish migraines. How many people do you know have migraine headaches? So what you can do is spray hot pepper up your nose. You can do that. I don't recommend it. It's going to sting, but you can also stop migraine pain. Now, you can make a spray out of it. But this is what I like to do. You can put this in some of maybe your coffee. If you make a powder out of it, put it in your coffee. That way, have salads. Go ahead and just cut it up, a pepper, and put that in your salad. Whatever you want to do. And I'm just going to tell you, it's really good for you, but good for migraines as well. There's a chemical in the part of the pepper that holds the seeds, and it numbs the brain's nerve. There's a nerve there that causes migraines. Now, where some migraines or severe headaches will start is where this actually handles. So 7 out of 10 people in a study who had cluster, tension, and other headaches had total relief for a while. All said that the sharp tingle, and you will get a sharp tingle, was definitely worth it. Okay, extend your life. Let's talk about this. Pop a pepper and you might live longer. Okay, it takes other things too. Don't smoke, do these other things as well. But one large study showed that adults who ate at least one fresh or dried hot chili pepper a month for almost 20 years lowered their chances of death by 13%. That's something to look at. Also, researchers aren't sure why, but they think some credit may be due to the pepper's nutrients or the pepper's nutrients and their power to fight inflammation and obesity. I've heard some people say that they take peppers to lose weight, and I can see where that happens. Up goes the metabolism. Okay, clear a runny nose. I know this works too. So got a sneezy, runny, or a stopped up nose that your doctor calls non-allergic. Okay, we've had that before. We've all had that doctor. That's when your nose just runs constantly, but it's not from a cold. It's not from allergies, and you're not a cigarette smoker. So if it's more than a whiff, if you just at least smell it just a little bit now, don't just get the jar of hot pepper and go, because I'm just telling you it's gonna sting your nose, but just a little bit, and it'll calm down those symptoms. Now it'll smart at first. It may be sharp at first, is what they meant to say, I think, in this article, and may even seem to worsen your misery. But that's going to soon kick in, and your stiffness might bother you for just a few months. Okay. All right. How about speed metabolism? This is what we were talking about just a few minutes ago, and this is about losing weight, which no woman, I don't care how skinny she is, thinks she's skinny enough. Okay. So if the doctor has said for you to lose weight, it could just be your metabolism. So the total body flush you sense when you eat a hot pepper is more than a feeling. There's a chemical behind that little zing there, and it amps up the rate in which your whole body heats up. It also activates a sensory neutron called TRPVI, which helps to keep the fat from burning up and controls from building up. Keeps the fat from building up, and it controls your appetite. Now, this metabolism quitting combo might help you lose weight. Researchers hope to apply this knowledge to curb weight gain. How about this one? Scramble pain signals. Yeah, it can do that. It triggers, and this again, this is what's in the pepper, and it triggers a heat sensation to the nerves and the cells that normally yell pain. Okay, this message to your brain reads hot. And this signal switch trick has been used for centuries to help control pain. People have been talking about it forever. Soothe arthritis. I got time for a couple more. Okay, so the super ingredient in many creams and lotions and patches that bring on heat to quickly squash that pain from arthritis and neuropathy. In one study, it cut discomfort from arthritis and fibromyalgia by half in just a few weeks. Now, you got to be consistent about it. You got to keep taking it. Results from other studies were less convincing, suggesting that it works best when coupled with another pain reliever. Either way, you just need to reapply it often. Okay, so it's not like you're never going to feel it again. So fight cancer is the last one. Now, in the lab, the ingredient in the peppers kill the cells linked to more than 40 types of cancer, including the colon, liver, lung, and pancreatic cancers, and leukemia. Now, the spicy chemical changes how some genes linked with cancer cells act and even stops them from growing. But other research suggests that the pepper itself may be linked to cancer. More studies are needed. I'm just going to say, you know your body more than I know it, and more than the doctor knows it, and more than science knows it. Try it for yourself and just see if it works. Try it topical first. If you've got arthritis, try it topical. If you love hot, spicy stuff, more power to you. See if you can get a couple of jalapenos a day, and then report back to me and let me know what happens. Thank you again so much for watching Donna's Edge television talk show. It's always so good to be with you. Continue sending emails. They make my day. Donna@donnasedge.com. Donna@donnasedge.com. Thank you so much for watching.